like make the window bigger. Pause the monitor. We are live. We are professional. For some reason, I can't drag this window out. Like, the draggy bar appears and then just disappears. All I wanted was a chat. A little chat frame there, just on the off chance anyone comes in. We'll get rid of my Facebook because we don't want that. Instead go salty. Live dashboard. Set this on top. And there we go. Right, we're back again to film more Phenex. Today I'm going to be working on the legs and possibly the backpack, and that will be the end. Well, there's the weapons as well. It'll be more or less the end of it until my pens arrive. I can't really do any decals until I've touched up all the little white spots on here. Yeah, it's looking really nice. It's so shiny. My next request for a perfect grade kit is this model because it's just astounding. Backpack's actually like quite detailed. The weapons, shield. There's a lot to the weapons and the shield. Considering, I'm not sure what this is. Oh, this is how to transform. I think. Yeah. Oh, the actual torso expands down. So we can just quickly show that off. So yeah, that pulls down a tiny bit just to really reveal a little bit of blue in there. Adds a bit of height to the model as well. There are instructions on how to transform every part of it, which is nice, and then the decals. So we will start with the legs. This is going to take a very long time because the legs are probably the most complicated part. These stickers, I'm not sure where they're for. Arms, waist, leg unit. This needs a lot. Okay. So let's start ticking things off this list before I do any recording. Sheet M, sheet B, sheet A. That's weapons. Two sheets F. It says H. Do we need H? We do. WF. We do not need WF. Sheet C. We need. We've got the two E sheets, which I'm pretty sure is scrap now, and the J sheet, which is also scrap. I don't have anywhere for this scrap to go just yet, but we'll get to that in the future. Sheet G. And K is one sheet. That's D, we do not need. N, nope. L, sheet L, yes. I, no. There's K. And finally we need P, which is this piece, yes. It's an actual Banshee blue there, I think. That's a little bit lighter. So all the other parts we don't need just yet. them back in the box and look into making a little space here. So we start off by making 2 feet, which needs P and L and B. A lot of different pieces actually. P and L, F and B. Two sheets of F, I suppose, and B. Over there. Hopefully it doesn't mess up my lighting. So first step is sheet P. P6 times 2 is the 2 bond feet plate. Over clipping this one because it's got quite thin parts to cut off. Should make things a little easier for me if I can actually hold on to it. Actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to press start recording so I can do a proper time lapse at the end of this without ripping from YouTube. There's one. Oh, I've missed a piece off there. And then we need the knife. Just to neaten these up a little. So 2 of those. Next is 2 L10s. Should be these pieces. Again, I can't really have sound because I keep getting copyright notices for playing music because YouTube's stupid. Not a lot we can do about that. I can keep putting bets on though, which will make this stream so much longer than it needs to be. Yeah, that's fine. These just go over there, like so. Excuse me, sniffling away. Ow! It's my first actual proper bleedy cut. I don't believe I have any plasters, so I just have to work with it. Be more careful in future. Next, we need 2 P5s, which is the actual main shoe cover. Shoe cover, I should say foot cover. It does have a bit of gold in there as well. This is, I think, the biggest piece of the actual base of the foot, base of the leg. Grammar's difficult. And I've overcut these because it's got quite big joins, and I just want to have a slightly freer cut. That was quite a slappy one. They're not great. But short of like buying a blue paint pen of this colour, which is different to Banshee blue, just to paint these feet, it's a bit too much effort really for me. So I'm just gonna sand it down, maybe. Oh, plastic stuck between my fingers. That's one thing I forgot to point out in the last, I suppose, episode I made of this, and that's part of this. I'd stupidly unplugged my webcam, which is what I've been using to record, and then plugged it back in, and OBS got confused and downscaled it to 720, but didn't fill it to fit my windows, so I had this horrible black border. So unfortunately there's not an easy way of fixing that, but it is what it is. So we've made the front of the feet. Next we have to make the actual foot joint, which is made from L9. So this is probably a bigger piece, I suppose. And again, it's got some really stupid anchoring. I'll cut both of these out with tons of excess. The important thing to remember when you leave all the excess is not to miss any off, because I had one there. I mean, it's quite rough looking, but it could be easily overlooked, and then you'd have pieces not going together properly. It's a stupid mistake to make, but I've done it before. That was a bit sloppy. This doesn't need to be super neat. It's a grey piece. It's a fully internal grey piece. It's all the workings of the joint on it. Now this does have like two little detaily stripes on the bottom that you could do panel lining on, but it's not like super visible. I never really have the bottom of the feet visible, but you know, little tiny lines like that I'd prefer to fill in for a tiny bit more contrast. There we go. So it's less flat, but these don't seem to have any on it, so it's a fully internal piece. So next we want L13 times 2, which is this. Again, this does have detailing on it, so it will be partially visible. For the most part, I don't really care to go too in depth with the grey plastic. Where are we at here? So these go. They go on second after the gold parts actually. So we want 2 F6s, which is a pretty nice gold housing for the shoe. I'll rough clip these out and then neaten them up a bit once they're removed. But again, this is something that will need painting over once my paint pen arrives. Yeah, absolutely. So it's not super neat, but it's gonna have to do. So this wants to go on upside down into piece L. into the middle bracket joint. Like so. And again for the other side. It does say to push this in until it clicks, but the click is like really soft because it's the grey plastic's a little softer. Next, we take the L13 pieces, check the orientation's correct, and they go into two slots at the front, little H slots. That is something that could be glued rigid if you so desire. I think that's correct. So I go into the apparently these need to be folded up. All right, it's smooth now. Okay, there's a little seam that was overlapping. Kind of awkward. Yeah, that one's fine. So they need to fold upwards. And next we can begin to put this all together. So we need sheet B. Firstly, we need two B18s, which is these bottom pieces. I'm gonna clip full. Actually, I can't clip the full frame out, but I can do a decent job. And then it's just so much easier to get proper angles. So we've got two of those. It does say to check the orientation on this, but it's kind of difficult when it's transparent plastic to truly figure it out. So I just want to double check this before I attach things to make sure these are both the correct way, because the other one was upside down. That looks okay. So this goes into the top plug. Again, that could be glued in if you desire. It's a non-moving part. And then we want two F10s to go over this. F10 is a fairly large piece. Rough cut it out. Grab the other one. Rough cut again. And then be a bit more precise to neaten it up. It's kind of an awkward shaped piece with badly placed joins. But it's off. It's kind of smooth. When I do come to paint this, I'll be taking a lot of it apart. A lot of the gold pieces can come off still, just from how I've glued it together, and it'll make doing the painting so much easier. So this piece you could glue in, but I'm not going to, because I plan on taking this back out to paint it up properly. Right, I think I understand this now. So, two little locator pins, one big, one small, cannot be messed up. It's just difficult getting it in. because of the ridges. So now they do come down to the side like this, but we have to attach the rest of the foot, so keep them up. And you can just jam this C-shaped grabber into the toe and fold these down over the front, and again repeat for the other side. And there's the base of 2 feet done. I'll give you a quick piece of those. Again, like there is some pretty obvious faults in the plastic, but oh well. Next we've got to make the heel of each foot. So again, this is a step that we repeat twice. We need sheet L, which is here, L3 and L11 times 2. L3 caught something. There we go. 2 L3s. Now L11 times 2, which is basically the ankle joint, I think. Yeah. Or should I say the ankle joint housing? It does have detailed parts on it, but I'm not going to bother paneling them because they are really well concealed. I'm not like entering any contest with this. So smooth some of the plastic off though. I did have some pretty rough cuts there. Yep. Okay. So again, this has 2 sides. It says don't use this side. Make sure you're using this side. Very, very vaguely. You have the joint basically facing down, so the ankle piece is down. This slots into the 2 C-shaped grabbers, so the bar is to the back of the joint. Because once it's in, it will not rotate around it. It only has the slightest rotation in it. So next, it wants us to fold these down, which we've already done. And then this goes this way up, and the bar at the bottom connects to the top of this. So does it want it folding down yet? Yes. So you basically put that in, the bar at the top. I'll probably do a closer version on this. So bottom bar here goes into the top C shape on the foot joint. It doesn't have to click in, you just pull it up and then rotate the whole thing around like so, and then that's the ankle joint done, and that shouldn't budge from there. And you'll have the 2 prongs sticking down on each foot to attach the heel, I think. So we've done that. Now we're on to this. We want L12. Yes. Snip out these L12s. Let's give it the slightest of a. It probably didn't look very slight, not a proper big slash, but I often find they're the neater looking ones because it's just so much smoother. But it does have the biggest potential to ruin a piece. Anyway, this we have the bracky part to the back of the foot, and then that will match up with the lower C on the main foot unit, and this just gives the actual heel like a ton of maneuverability. So next we need P7. P is dark blue, and then we need F7 also. Those are two P7 pieces. A bit sketchy. So this is a piece that would need like proper scaling down, sand size, sand grit numbers. Terminology for that. But you can like work your way down to like a 12,000 grit, get this as smooth as it is here. Or you could just paint over it. Either way, I will just leave it as it is. There's two little pins on the bottom, two little holes that go onto the two little pins on the bottom of each foot. These go on first, then we need the two F7s, which are these biggish pieces. So it should lean more into the camera's actual field of view and cutting things precisely. There we go. A bit rough that actually. Gold up my nose. Smooth that out. That's pretty smooth already. Next one. It's good. These are like really good because I can just leaf them around my finger and cut away without risking stabbing myself again. These go on like kind of upside downish. There's a small groove either side that they slot into. Like so. Next we need F12, F13. We'll do one of these at a time so I don't get all the pieces muddled up. So that's my 12. And 13. I'll start with 13. Brilliant. That came off super easy. So F13, it has a little ball groove on the back with a divot cut out, and it lines up with that, as you might imagine. And again on the other side. And then they do have a tiny bit of movement, because you can have the boot in high heel mode or flat mode, so if you want to have a very fancy Gundam. I think that's the reason my Perfect Grade doesn't stand up properly, is because I never put the high heels down on it. They just look stupid. After this, I think it's the ankle joint itself. I'm not quite sure though. That's smooth. These pieces just peel off really easily, and the flashing that's left is really quite flat already, so great for painting on. That one's a little bit raised actually. Obviously, as soon as I mention it, I jinx myself. And the more I look, the more I see. But again, this is all going to get fixed once my paint pen arrives, probably off camera, just due to how long it's likely to take. I don't really want to stream watching paint dry, it'd be even more boring. There we go, 2 feet, more or less the same. That one seems a lot flatter. Why won't this one go flat? If I put that in high heel, that one in high heel, it'll go flat. Interesting. Well, one of these feet has a fault. It won't quite go flat. So let's pull as much off as I can. Really quickly. So now they're both flat. Just a case of building it back up from there, which is really simple. There's not much I took off it. Perfect. Okay, next is kind of a complicated part. I've got to do it twice. Luckily it's all L pieces. So a single sheet, I can do it quite procedurally. L7. L4. 4 of these. Okay. They don't have any directional warnings as far as I can make out. I am going to file this down a bit. It's very roughly cut. When I say file, I just mean hack at with a knife. The side's not too bad. The top isn't as important because it's a joint and that just goes in a pin. Okay. That's that. Doesn't seem to say anything too important. These look symmetrical. I mean, I've just forced that together. I imagine the note there says, "Don't force them together." But 2 of those done, so that's that step. Then I want L6, I think. Do I? Don't I? Yeah, we'll do L6 now. L6, 2 of them. Let's flatten out some flashing. Yep. Okay, so this does have an orientation warning because it's like quite an obvious looking shape. This goes into the top part. Let's get the rotation right so the next piece will fit in. It goes in there. Next we want to make this the L4 to L8 connection. Again, we cut off 2 L4s. I'm going to smooth them out. Then 2 L8. This is quite a big piece. Okay. This I just want to give a very brief bit of attention with the knife. This one needs a bit more because I've rough cut it. I've done a terrible job. Okay. And then the L4s. So L4, L8, L8, pin down, this goes across. Push it till it clicks, and then slot this into the bottom, with the pin facing down from the L8. And again, assemble on the other side. This also needs trimming. About time I use my cutting mat, I suppose. The L8 does have a slight locking pin on it. I've managed to match it on there anyway. Okay, L5. 5. Oh, quick little stretch. So give these a very brief cut, just to make joining them a slightly bit easier. And then this is where it gets slightly confusing. L8's a big piece at the bottom, and this has kind of a wider bottom that matches up with that, and you've just got to get the central alignment thing in, like so. It clicks in quite nicely. Repeat again the other side. Click. Done. It's 2 of those assembled. It does have a side-on thing that you can compare it against. Yeah, mine looks alright. Next, we've just got one more little bit to make, and then the 2 feet are done. We start with L1 times 2, of course, because robots don't have left feet and right feet, they just have feet. L1, then L2, stab myself with my snips. Some of these could do with a slight little trim. Oh, don't drop that, that's a tiny piece. You can't even see where I'm cutting here, that's a problem. Yeah, that's okay. Ow! Stabbed my nail. That'll do for that. F8. Get a bit of gold on here. It's this big old gold piece. 2 of them off. Neaten it up. And again. It's a bit rough. That'll do. So then this is a little slot, and that locks into there, like so. Push it till it won't be pushed anymore. You have to make sure that this is the right way. You can put it on upside down. Don't want to do that. You want to put it on so that the ball curves around the top. And then you take one of these weird joints you just made, put the ball through there, again, that way. It's hard to tell from so far away on my camera, but it does have a decent little bit of instruction in the book. So that's really tight. This one's really loose. It's a shame. But, oh well. Then that can go into the foot. And then you've got the ankle joint done, which can like expand and move around really well, and it covers up like a bit of blue underneath there. It's not super important, but 2 feet done. So what we're making here, we're making 2 of something, 8/6, and then we'll make the legs. I'm just going to treat myself to a mint while I figure out this next step. So 2 of these, let's make 2 of these. B13. Well, it's 46 minutes into this. F3 goes in first, and then F9. So we'll make sure I understand what I'm doing with this first before I go to make 2 at once. Oh, that's sketchy, that. Ah, well. So this does have trying to figure out the orientation of this. Two little side pins that stick out, they go at the top. Then F3 has a crossbar that goes into there. That's piece number 6 that I've dropped. That's potentially right. I'll cut off piece number 9 and then figure out if it holds together any better. I'm just going to open my window because it's really hot in here. Nice bit of fresh air coming in. F9 has a little groove cut out. That's come apart already. Does that little see forward? It does. Oh, this best not be the knee. This is the knee. On my other model, I've lost the knee because I massively messed it up when I was making it. So pay attention to this part now. Okay. Yeah, a little T shape there. There we go. 2 knee plates made. Oh, then we need F4 times 2. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . the other one out. And then neaten it. And again on the other side. Right, these pieces then slot into the back of this, like so. Yep, that folds nicely. So the bar at the top of this goes into the middle C joint here. It is a little tight, but it will go in. You need the knee to be like flat, I suppose. It's proper difficult to explain. The first one seemed to go on really easily. There we go, the second one did as well. It did straighten itself out. So now we have two of these knee joints made. Put them over there. Now we can start working on the right leg. This one. Go here. I need sheet K for this. Start with K20, which is the bulk of the leg. K20. Next we want to make a piece of the joint from K16 to K19. K16. This is a sheet that really should be in two because does have left and right leg parts on it, which isn't great. We have these two little pins facing out, and there's a pin on here that faces out. This slots together. This is just a little expansion joint for when it transforms before it attaches to the main joint, which is made of K14 and K13. Now these are like, yeah, they've got 11 and 12 for left, 13 and 14 for right. So it's 13. Here's 14. And then this piece does get a little bit confusing. So 13 is the one that has the big joins on it. If we want to first take the main joint of the leg, and this O-ring at the back goes to the lower O on piece 13, and that'll rotate to line up nicely. Then we want to take the piece we made earlier, the expansion joint, put that through the big one with the pins facing inwards, and then take this final part of the joint just to connect it all up. And then we've basically got a knee joint which can pop up a tiny little bit, which does have a nice little effect. There's also a rail here for some more transformation. It's quite cool. It does need to be compressed down for this part. Yeah. So next we want B7. This is this piece. My phone's just buzzed. What's this? Nothing important. So B7, this has the pins facing inwards, like so, and this piece just comes on the bottom. It does have a little pin at the bottom that it slots into, yeah, like so. Then we want K17 to basically hold that all in place. These are symmetrical parts now. It's kind of going towards the foot. K17. It's fully symmetrical. It'll work on the left or the right, and it'll work back or forwards. Slot this in the bottom. So that's that. That will attach to the foot there. If you want to make a very naked RX-0. Ooh, scratchy leg. So for this next stage, it's kind of complicated. What you want to do first is expand the leg up at the top. Then you need piece B15. I think that was just a clipping that I threw on the floor. B15. I'm gonna rough cut this out and then neaten it up a bit. Yep. Yep. And yep. So B15 and G12. G12, 13 and 14. I've got two of those. Where is 12? There it is, right at the bottom. It's G12. This goes on here, like so. Nice and flush. And then, let me just double check the orientation on this. Pin out, this goes into here. Yeah. Yep, yep. And then once you put that in, it wants you to push this back down. Don't know why you need to have that up to put it on. It will go on if it's down, but whatever. Oh, I think it needs to be down for this next part, which is B17 to G7. 17, yes. And G7. These are not symmetrical. This is why making the feet is just such a nightmare. Some parts are symmetrical, some parts aren't. If you accidentally stop concentrating for a second and click the wrong one off, it will make your day a bit more awkward. So top hole matches up with this. No, with this. Pop those together like so. Find my camera. And then they go onto the back side of this. There's two pins at the top. Slots into there nicely. That goes on first. Then we do G18. There's another piece to that, but apparently not. G18 has a little cutaway that lines up with this. It's got one locating pin and one inverse pin. So that slots together like so. Looks really nice and flush, but this piece does pop up, and then you get that nice little blue streak in there, and then it'll close back down. Really cool. by far my favourite model kit. This, every version of it is the same, but the gold and blue is really nice. I might buy another. There's a RX-0 Model 1 perfect grade. I wouldn't mind making that sometime in the future. I do want to get some more professional tools though, so I can do a belting job on it, get all the paints. This is a nice big piece, and it kind of just slots onto these two end little nubs to make the other side of the expansion. With the chrome, that's quite difficult to pull apart though. Oh well, it's together now. Let's just see if I can polish this up a bit. It is like a magnet for oil. That's stunning. So it does use this little C shape at the front here as your main alignment point. Now we get to do these cool little rails. So focus on this. We need 2 and 4 from sheet B. 2 and 4. Oh, there's one more. Okay. Nearly just slotted these together blindly then. Figure out which piece is which. This is piece 2. Then we want this forward, and the lower circle has to go into this central channel, and then piece 4 matches up on the other side. So, and then this will slide up and down as part of the transforming action. It's another really interesting little piece. Now we want to rotate this opposite, and we're making a rocket. B-19. These are both at the bottom here. B-19, we want sheet M. There it is. M1, a little rocket cone. Thruster cone, whatever you want to call it. They're clipped fairly well. So that goes on a little nub at the bottom. Then F11. Excuse me, I don't know if that was picked up. F11. It's this big old piece of gold. So then this slots in to F11, 3 little pins, holds it in place. Mirror cube square. Kind of have to bet on the mirror cube square, don't we? That's that made. K22. My pile has got a bit disorganised here. It's K. K22. It's here. So this is symmetrical, but it has the warning nublets on it. Doesn't actually mention on here like be really careful when you're cutting this. You might cut off the attachment point. Anyway, K22 rocket clips onto this here, like so. Then we want B5. These two little things here. B5. Then back of the leg at the very bottom. That's sliding up and down quite freely. Clips onto the bottom there, just a little flappy doodah. And the top piece slots in at the back of the knee joint. We want to have this folded down, like so. Perfect. And then this does have like some weird rotation on it, like it moves up and down a little bit and in and out to go flush. Actually want to file that at the bottom. Yep, it's better. Okay, next is K6, K5. These are, I believe, symmetrical parts. There's 6. This is 5. So there's a little pins here and here. I think it matches up with them. K5. Have I cut these off in the wrong order? I think I have. Yeah. They go into there, and they hide this quite well. K6, K5, G20 is next. Now we're back to a non-symmetrical part. Okay. And then this goes on the front. It's 2 pins that it matches up with. So, okay. Very nice. Next, we want to add the outer plating and the upper kneecap, and then the actual knee. It doesn't have any order for this, so I think I can do it in any order. Let's have a try at doing that. So, bottom of the knee goes into there, top into there. Okay, F1 and F2, and F5 and K21. We'll do that first. K21, nice small piece. Thought I only had one K21 then. That was a bit of panic. K21 to F5. I've kind of got my F panels mixed up here because it doesn't matter. I will use it all up. Kind of just scratch away at that with my nail to get off the flashings. That slots in nice and flush, and then this slots into the top of the knee nicely. So I'm gonna and then take off these, starting with piece 2. Neaten it up. So this is F2, and again this has some really tiny little locators on it. Let's push that in nice and firm, flip it over, do the same for F1, rough cut, and then neaten it up. There you go. That needs a bit of work. Okay, and again, same number of pins on this side. Match them up, push it tight. There we go. It's looking pretty decent. A couple more pieces, and we're done with one leg, and then it's onto the left. So next we want G14 and G13. I'll start with G13, based on how I've got my model positioned. Mm. 13, and just give it a little faintest of scratch downs with my with my nail. Does that go on the bottom there? Yeah. Okay. That sits into that slot. G14. More of the same, opposite side. Scratch down. Get it primed for painting. It's a totally valid technique, this. That needs a bit more scratch down. And again, match it up, push it together, sound. Okay, next is an awkward piece. This is, again, part of the leg expansion joint thing for transforming it. We need 2 K4 pieces, which are here. There's one. There's 2. These go in first into the top there, and they match up with the bottom of the G pieces we've just put in. But these are on expansion joints, so they can fold open. And I think this does pull down somehow. I'm not going to do it now. Just want to keep it all together. Next, G5, which is quite a big piece. With the big pieces, I do like to rough cut them. Just to try and neaten it up. We also need G1. I'll do that rough as well, because there's not already enough tiny pieces of plastic all over my desk. Luckily out of sight of the camera. So that. That's a really rough one. Okay, that's the lot. Just doing and neaten up this really rough cut I made. Next, we can push this piece up and in. Slots in there. Then we can put a panel over the top of that. But this is an expanding joint. Either way, that is one leg done. Can connect it up to the foot just by pushing it in. And we've got one really nice golden leg. That's the right leg. Okay, one last check of everything. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to stick this onto a little model now. I am missing two pieces off the waist. I'm not entirely certain I've skipped a step, but I will have to look into this. I'm just going to quickly go back and check the waist. The front and back. I mean, these pieces do need to go on after the legs have been done, so it might be that. Yeah, it's like the very last step of doing the legs is the two side plates. Okay, so now the left leg could be potentially a bit faster. I've roughly got my head around what to do. I like to try and do the second part faster anyway. But that's why my original MG kit has got a missing right kneecap. The left leg first, I think, and then oh no, oh I don't know. I've confused myself here. Anyway, onwards and upwards. K15, K18. Part of the reason the second leg's faster is because there's so much less stuff on the board, so I don't have to go, oh, is this the left or the right? I don't know. See, I've already confused myself here. I've got that, but I've just cut off a wrong piece. Okay. We'll figure that out. I think that was a K17. Just leave me to have a little note. Okay. That expands okay. K11, K12. again, I'm not really much to say here. I'm just repeating everything I've just done. It's hard to really give a commentary on it. Just have to not lose this one piece. I'll put on the mint. Oh, there it is. Next step. That's convenient. So we want B6. B6. Okay, 17. Okay, mistake fixed. Flip this back over, B14 to G11. G14. Oh yeah, pull this up. Push this on. Push that back down, then G11. Where's G11? There it is. It's at the bottom, same as last time. Not where it should be. Oh no, don't give me hiccups now. I'm filming. Okay, G11. Located. We want to flip it over. Do B16. Yep, B16 to G8. Okay, get together. And into the top two pins. Then we take G19. Big piece, so nice and rough. Okay, that's on. Flip it back over, G10. Another big piece. The quick nail treatment. And that's on. Done. Then the B rails. Okay, so this piece, I want to make sure I've got the orientation right. Big pin. Turtles. Push that together. There we go. That's a slider done. And pick up this Masster sprue. double page turn. Oof. Give myself a little stretch. And then we want to retire this F sheet finally. I need somewhere for my dead sheets. Oh, they're over there. Double check it's gone, everything's took off it. But I'll keep them anyway, just in case. B19 is at the bottom. Then we're going to need an M1 after this. That's for the little rocket nozzle. Where's the M? There it is. Okay, M1. Scratch it down. Put this on. Okay. And we match that up. Push it in, make it click. Okay, that's that done. K22. And also B5. B5 piece clips onto the bottom. Then this whole assembly clicks on. Can't remember. Oh, because I need to put the K joint on. Like so, into the back of the knee. And then at the top, folds down flat. Brilliant. I'm going to bet on this one match. They're all in on guts because he's got a big sword. He's practically already stabbing the other fella. K5, K6. It's K6 there. But I said this last time and they were the wrong way round. This time I'm going to make extra certain. This is K5. Okay, so K5 should go on this way. It doesn't. Just doesn't. I mean, K6 does go on the right side. I just didn't line things up properly. Betting on guts was a bad idea. Okay, so there's the side panels are on. Then we can put on, oh no, G21 comes first. This goes on these bottom two pins. go. Then we can put the knee joint on. Possibly. Okay, well, it's on. It don't seem to be on as securely as the other one was. It's a bit of a worry. F5K21. F5K21. Almost got K sheet finished. Just got the 2 expansion locks. Okay. That's on, that's on. F1, F2, and this is retired. Okay. Oh. Jog my arms a little. Push this in. Other side. Clamp all this together. Okay. Another empty sheet. Then we want G. I'm going to be emptying this off soon. 13 and 14. Cut that a bit deeper than I'd have liked. Again, cut that a bit deeper than I'd have liked. Oh dear, I forgot how to use a knife. Okay, better. Put both of those in. Let's take off the last pieces of sheet K. Then that's all empty. We're done. Next is piece G6. Big piece, so we rough cut. And this is quite a badly cast piece. This, the actual gold's probably not going to show up too well. It's really rough, even like outside of the place where you'd cut it. Quite disappointing. So I'm just gonna scrape across with the blade to sort of smooth it out, and then I can just paint in the rest when my paint arrives. Strange how this is the very first piece I've noticed this one. Everything else seems fine. The other side's okay, but just that one side, a bit dodgy. Oh well, carry on. Push that in from the bottom. Then G2 will not end the G sheet because we've still got 2 more of these stupid golden rods for the backpack. So I can box that for now. G2 into there. Okay. Match this up with its foot, and that is the second leg done. Wonderful. Again, I have this strange feeling that I've definitely missed off a ton of stickers somewhere. The green on his rifle, I can see that. But all of the grey, no idea. Possibly on the shield, actually. I have recently made an SD RX-0, and that had a lot of stickers for the shield. This one's like he's almost good to battle. I prefer it if its chest would stop expanding out. There we go. Lock that in. Pull his arm off. Okay, so there's 2 tiny last little bits to do, but he can stand on his own feet finally. This is literally just a minuscule little step of oh god, what have I done? Lost OBS. There you go. A5 times 2. There we go. Oh, thought I'd made a big mistake there, but no. C5 times 2. What was C? C was a gold sheet. There we are. C5 times 2. And we can slot this onto here. didn't feel like it pressed in properly. I don't know. Looks like it's pressed in properly. It didn't feel right. Possibly because the blue is really rough around the edges. Okay. Okay. So we've done that. Then we need H6. What's H? H is grey. Oh, this is the last stuff on H. 2 H6s. Empty sheet. Push those together. And then we want C6. It seems to have like spare helmet. Well, yeah, that's all not used, I think. Well, this. I don't know. Let's just finish this up for today. Given the decency of having full waist protection. I'm gonna put the rest of these sheets in the box. We're ready to rumble tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, yeah. So I can finish it tomorrow, but obviously not finish because I need paint. And then these panels, very basic action, they just open a tiny little bit. But tiny details are nice. Just feels so wrong, like scratching off gold. Just hope and pray that the paint I get is good enough to blend it. And final step for today is to attach these side plates to the hips. And there we have it. This is effectively finished. This one I'll open his unicorn up to a bicorn. It's kind of cool. I need you to fold out. We have a lens flare nightmare. But, oh, cover your feet up properly. Come on. The backpacks to go on, and then weapons as well as that, and the shield, weapons, shield, backpack. Backpack's pretty straightforward. Weapons, I never really bother doing weapons for these models. I think somewhere I've still got, well, this doesn't have conventional weapons, it's got the claw and the big railgun thing, but typically I've never really bothered doing the weapons, but I'm going to for this because it's a special kit. And it looks really, really cool when it's got the shields on its back as well. And then eventually I'm going to finish my perfect grade kit. So I'm just looking over the instructions for transforming it, and I was originally going to like glue the head together, but apparently you have to take the side panels off the head to transform it. So don't glue the head together. I might have done that on this actually. I can't quite tell. I've just like dropped several pieces off it though. What I want to do is stop recording here for today with just a little final glimpse of this. So recording stopped, still streaming. While I reattach this, which I shouldn't have took off. And the backpack, jetpack. Now these two can potentially stand together. Beaten and abused Banshee, beautiful golden Phenex. Basically, this exactly the same. Well, apart from this has got an extra piece of horn, extra stuff around the neck, and obviously the claw and the big rail on the arm. I don't know. This is a very nice model. And it was made from a good few hundred pieces. So yeah, tomorrow will be weapons, shield, and potentially a few decals that I can put on. But seeing as like the shoulders need, you can see it pretty well when I get the lighting just right. It needs a lot of paint to touch it up properly. And then I can spend a week doing decals really nicely. Let's try and... I am terrible at posing these things. So, there you go. Stand up. Perfect. I'm going to end it there for today. Cutting down, I have like so many of these just little scraps of plastic just everywhere I need to clear up. I've just knocked my camera off center from where I had it. There we go. Clean up all this mess. Pack away. Like the box is half empty now because I've used up so many sprue sheets today. This isn't actually the correct mounting for this model, unfortunately. I think the leg base is different. Let's just double check that. So this one sits in really well. This one for some reason doesn't, even though it is basically the same model. Oh. Yeah, it's just not as tight holding it in, so I may look into buying a new stand because I doubt I'll ever find all the attachments I have for mounting different robots, I shouldn't call them robots, different mechs onto here, but here's the last little glimmery look at this absolutely astounding model. Before I put him into a much more basic pose, there we go. Let's get him T-posing for tomorrow. So I'll minimize this and yeah, come back again to see how this model finishes up with weapons and all that cool stuff. And I need to find my mouse to end this stream.